Welcome to this edition of SAC News in Focus. I am Chris Arce. SAC's fashion department has grown in the past few semesters. The opportunities available to students of the program increase every year. Joining us today to talk about more about the fashion department has to offer is Kyla Benson. Thank you for joining me, Kyla.
Hi, nice to be here, Chris.
So the fashion department, most people just assume that it's sewing classes, but there's a lot more to more to the classes than that, right?
Absolutely, yes. Well, we live in Orange County, which is a hub for the apparel industry. Being so close to the port of Long Beach in Los Angeles, you'll find that there's hundreds of companies locally who do business with factories overseas. So here at Santa Ana College, we train them to either go in the design side or go in the business side, which we call merchandising.
All right.
Yeah, so there's a lot more classes than just sewing. You know, we don't really train people to necessarily go sew for a career.
Right.
It's more for to understand product development and garment construction to make them a better designer and to understand how to source a product and get it made and sold. Yeah.
And how can students find out which part of the industry they're interested in?
I think the best way for a student to figure out what part of the industry is best for them is to take Intro to Fashion. It's FDM 100. It's really a careers class. I mean, it goes over the apparel industry and the life cycle of a product, but there's field trips and guest speakers so that you can get a better sense. What is it like to work as a pattern maker? What is it like to work as a buyer? What's it like to be on a design team or be an entrepreneur or work for a big company? A lot of those questions can get answered so that you can make a better decision about what to major in, whether it's the design side or more business side. Another class I recommend all students to take too if they can is fashion illustration. It's FDM 111A. That's where students learn how to draw on the computer. We learn Adobe Illustrator.
All right.
Yeah, and I mean, Illustrator right now, it's more important than ever. I mean, just to get an internship, companies want students to be fluent in Illustrator. You can use it your whole career. So, yeah.
So it's just a lot of options for them, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many options. Yeah, students don't really know. I actually have a map in my classroom of just a whole bunch of dots, and it's dots on a map of Orange County, and then the dots go over on a different side and they say the name of the company, and you can see where clusters are. There's a lot of companies in Santa Ana. Irvine, Costa Mesa are huge clusters too. But a lot of people don't realize the opportunity here in Orange County for the apparel industry, for fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the students of fashion classes, they learn a wide variety of skills and techniques in their classes. What are some classes that are more advanced classes that let them expand their skills even more?
Gosh, yeah, there's so many actually. I'd love to continue talking about the fashion illustration class because we recently received a grant to purchase a direct-to-garment printing machine, so students will be able to print out their designs. If they design a graphic for a t-shirt, they'll be able to print it and see it. And we've been able to print student designs in the past, but it just takes a while. You have to source it and pay for it and wait for it to come in, and now we'll actually be able to do it in the classroom. So that's really exciting. Other more advanced specialized classes we have, we just actually started a corset making class where students learn how to design and build corsets and bustiers, and that's really important, I think, for people who'd like to start quinceañera lines or dresses, or bridal wear is also a big industry in LA too. We also have pattern drafting classes, and we teach students how to draft on the computer. And we recently got 3D body scanning software, and you can design patterns in 3D. So you design your two-dimensional pattern, and then on the computer it sews it up, and you type in what kind of fabric you're going to use, how much does the fabric weigh, how does it drape. Yeah, and then the three-dimensional avatar can walk, and you can see how your garment looks on the computer, on the avatar, and they can make design changes. Yeah, it's nice because it saves time from cutting out the fabric and sewing it up. You can kind of fix some glitches right away before doing your first fit samples. So there's definitely a lot of technology in our department, I think more than people would expect. But as you know, in today's day and age, technology is extremely important, and it's changing quickly. And with factories overseas in Asia, in India, you really need to be able to communicate, digitally. So it's important to be able to draft patterns on the computer and to draw on the computer and, to communicate over email or video chat.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for those who have taken great steps into creating their own works, the SAC has regular fashion shows, correct?
Yes, absolutely, actually. We're a very hands-on department, so what's nice about our classes is that after you learn the material, you get to try it out yourselves. So our promotions class, they learn about, it's called coordination and promotion, it's FDM 102. They learn how to coordinate an event and how to promote it. So they plan our annual fashion show. They have to coordinate with designers, models, hair and makeup, a venue, selling tickets, an audience. They have to make the whole show come together, and it's a lot of work.
So there's a lot of ways for students to get involved in that.
Absolutely, yeah, yes, exactly. So students really get to control it. So we don't have a set venue where we have a fashion show every year. It really depends on which students are in that class and what they think is best for their vision. And then they coordinate with the designers, and then the designers make collections, and they get to showcase their own individual collection at the fashion show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how often do these shows happen?
Yeah, just once a year, actually, spring semester.
Okay.
Yeah, every spring semester.
And how would a student submit their work into the show?
Well, if you would like to be a senior designer, you would take FDM 213, which is apparel line, and that's where you learn to make a line from start to finish. You learn about the inspiration process and forecasting and sketching, drafting the pattern, fitting it, getting feedback from a mentor, sourcing your materials, finding models, and styling the whole look. So 213 is the senior designers, where they design their own 4-piece collection. However, all students in the fashion department can get involved with the fashion show. We also have separate segments for beginning sewing students, or the corset class, or a draping class, or a costume design students. So students can submit garments that they've made and be showcased in our event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, we'll be taking a break for now. Still to come in SAC News in Focus, we'll talk about what the future holds for the fashion department.
My name is Kevin. I'm a military veteran returning to school, and I'm a student at Santa Ana College. I went to an art school in Los Angeles for 2 years. I realized things were getting pricey and expensive. I was tired of hearing my parents talk about the financial issues we have. At the same time, I also had a desire ever since I was a little kid to join the military. So I enlisted in the United States Air Force for 4.5 years, and immediately at the same time I got out of the military, I got hired at Disney. I chose online classes because I'm able to have time management with my priorities outside of school and also with school. I'm able to control my life. My advice for a student thinking about taking online classes is you got to be on top of your game. You have to make sure you have time to do your online classes. It might be easy to forget that you have homework due and quizzes to take. So you just definitely got to be on top of it. I would say online classes are just the same type of difficulty as face-to-face class. Do the coursework, read the chapters, take the quiz. You still have deadlines just like actual classes. It's been a year, and I'm able to speed up the process where I'm going to be getting my associate's degree this December, and we'll be transferring for spring. So online classes definitely helps me reach my end goal faster.
Welcome back to SAC News in Focus. We are talking with Kyla Benson, the chair of the SAC Fashion Department. So Kyla, recently the fashion department has started getting in new industrial sewing machines, been very much needed, I might add. Is there any other new equipment that we're hoping to see in the fashion lab in the coming years?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, next semester, you'll see a big change in the fashion lab. And I know students are already starting to see the change with the introduction of the industrial sewing machines. But now we have not just single needle sewing machines, but we have the buttonhole machine, cover stitch, serger, blind hem. But there's also machines that are going to help other classes as well, such as the direct-to-garment printer, which will print t-shirts, will print artwork on fabric for us. We also are getting a vinyl cutter too to support our visual merchandising class as well, and our embroidery class that we have. So it can cut out appliques that can be sewn on garments. As well, so we're really excited about that. We have a sublimation printer coming and a press for that. So, so we're gonna have a full working studio where really you can make just about anything. So it's really exciting, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So much but so with all that new equipment and technology available to students, can we expect to see any new classes coming to the campus too?
Yeah, actually, curriculum just approved a few new classes. I already mentioned the corset making class, but we also are running an embroidery class for the first time this semester. Here in Southern California, there are hundreds of screen printers and embroidery shops locally. So we're going to be training students how to prepare, how to digitize art to be embroidered, and how to prepare your art to be screen printed to separate the colors. So this fall, we're running the embroidery section of that new class.
Oh, cool.
And then next fall, we'll be running the fabric printing, screen printing, heat press, heat transfer, DTG. Art printing will be next fall. So, I mean, if anyone who's interested in the screen printing industry, or starting a t-shirt line, or working for one of the big corporate companies that makes t-shirts and does branding, it's great classes to take. Yeah, whether you want to start your own company or whether you want to go work for one of the shops locally.
So students will basically be able to make anything they want once everything is all set up, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, yeah. That's exciting.
So let's see. Are there any other kinds of changes that you'd like to see made to the laboratory?
Always will want to improve upon our laboratory. One thing that is on my agenda that might happen in a few years is to pursue a denim certificate, a jeans making certificate. The denim industry, it's big in Japan and it's big in Los Angeles. We're so close to Los Angeles. So there is one more machine I am planning on purchasing that's specific for denim. So that might be a change you might see in a couple of years. But right now, we're really just focusing on the printing and embroidery portion. Yeah.
All right. And a few classes have worked with the bookstore to put some new products in there. I believe you're actually wearing one of the shirts right now.
Yes.
Can we expect future inclusion of the bookstore in some of our fashion classes?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a huge collaborative project of working with the bookstore. It started years ago with the buying class. Our Professor Leibolt started a relationship with the bookstore, and she found funds, and she had students in the buying class go up to LA and purchase items at a wholesale price, and then they marked it up to a retail price, and they merchandised the items. And the bookstore gave us an area, a fashion department area, and they sold merchandise. And it was great because then we were able to use the money that was made to buy more merchandise for the next year. That project has expanded because the Vice President Collins actually reached out to our department and wanted to support our fashion design students to design t-shirts that could be sold in the bookstore. So there's a small line of SAC branded t-shirts that are designed by students from Fashion Illustration, and those students got the opportunity to work with local vendors to get them screen printed and produced and costed, and they're actually at sale at cost at the bookstore. We're only charging $10 for them, and we chose really soft materials, so it's a really good deal, and it's nice because it's designed by the students too. So I think it's very authentic. So that project's going to grow next semester when we offer Fashion Illustration again. We're going to expand upon that program and give more students the opportunity to grow that line as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And if you want to learn more about what might be coming new to the fashion department, you can check out their website on the SAC website. that will wrap up this week's edition of SAC News in Focus. Kyla, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we will see you next week. All right, be sure to watch out for our regular edition of SAC News on Wednesday.